Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to another episode of Lunch with Flimsy, where these episodes, if you're newer, it's sort of like a channel update slash life update slash me just kind of yabbering on. So there's some good things, some exciting things to share in today's video. And then maybe also at the end, me venting some of my Norway frustrations at the end. When it comes to visas and such things, but we'll talk about that eventually towards the end. But I hope you have had a good weekend. I hope you've had a good Monday, good start to your week thus far. So I do need to say I haven't posted anything about it, but recently we passed 1,600 subscribers, and then we had a video to do really well, and now I think we're over like 1,660 subscribers. So thank you. Thank you for those of you who are new and joining the community and the FLT community. It's fun, beyond just playing the games and the community that comes with the game. My other favorite thing is just interacting with you all. So that's one of the reasons why I like trying to do these Lunch with Flimsy episodes. But then also it gives you a chance, I guess, to get to know me a little bit more, but then also to have conversations with you. And typically every 100 milestone in subscribers, I like doing a Q&A, just with how the timing of that goes. So next Monday, we will have a Q&A. You can ask me questions about World of Warships, Armored Warfare, non-game related, as long as it's not like super personal questions. But yeah, I mean, you can feel free to ask away. And if you're not sure of what maybe is too personal, like, you can still ask the question, then it may be just I change how I answer the question, or don't go into full depth. So I like that aspect of the community because, I mean, you guys make this channel what it is. So I'm rather thankful for the community here, for you gentlemen and ladies. I should always try to say ladies, but when I check the YouTube analytics, it's a vastly male majority audience, except for Mrs. Flimsy. She is a subscriber. So yeah, so there'll be Q&A, so drop your questions in the comments below on this video, and then I'll also make a post in the FLT Discord. So if you're not in Discord, there's an invite link in the description below, and then we'll have our own channel. You can ask your question there or here on this YouTube video. So Q&A next Monday, and that will work out really well for me timing wise, because this Friday and Saturday, this is the third thing, some housekeeping. Probably not going to be any YouTube videos this coming Friday, Saturday, mainly due to what's happening in life. Thursday is Thanksgiving for us Americans, and so Mrs. Flimsy and I, even though we live here in Norway, we still like celebrating it, so we invite some friends, acquaintances, just have that day of gratitude, thankfulness. So we will be doing that all day, and I still actually have to work a little bit that day. Friday, I have a work event that it is roughly 12 to 14 hours long. So I will have no time on Friday to record. Normally on Fridays is when I try to do a couple of videos recording. As Friday, Saturdays are my days off, usually, but not this week. And then Saturday, Mrs. Flimsy and I are decorating for Christmas in our home, in our apartment. So normally we do that the day after Thanksgiving, but because of how the work event landed this year, we had to push it off until Saturday. And so for me, it's a very joyful, celebrative time, in being able to decorate for Christmas, and just have, it's one of my favorite seasons. So, I mean, summer here in Norway is like that much more important, meaningful, especially when you live on the southwest coast and you have a much, all the dreary weather with the rain and the clouds. But I still really love winter time and the Christmas time. So we'll be doing that on Saturday, and then somewhere in the midst of all of that, or later that Saturday or that Sunday, we are rearranging our apartment. So we're rearranging like 3 rooms of the apartment, and that's probably gonna be at least half a day, if not more. And that is because Mrs. Flimsy, her business is beginning to take off much more, and wanting to give her more space in our current living situation, our apartment, so she can have more space for what she is doing. I won't say what she's doing, but she's an artist, and she is fantastic and phenomenal at the art she creates, and I just enjoy the art she creates so much. So really want to give her more space in our home apartment to do that. And that means that actually my current setup, where my recording area, desk, computer area is going to be moved to a different room. So I have to dismantle the cords and slightly undo my desk to get them moved into a different room, which I think will work out a little bit better because it will basically be a game room. Because where my current setup is now, it's a kind of part of our living room, kitchen room area. Like here they have in Norway, I would say, they have more of emphasis on the living room spaces being much larger for hosting in that. And then the bedrooms tend to be smaller, which I like. It's nice. Still giving more room to Mrs. Flimsy in the largest space of our apartment. So then we'll be moving all my stuff into this other room where it used to be a former bedroom. And then have to set that all up. So that will be fun, but it also means I'm having to tear most of my gaming setup down, rearrange, and move a bunch of stuff. So that would make sense to have that Q&A video on Monday. So maybe once I get it set up, I can share some pictures. Maybe if we have it done by the Q&A video, I'll throw it up in the Q&A video. So that actually has some benefits too, because then I will have more room where I can like actually close the door, and Mrs. Flimsy doesn't have to worry about being quiet, or I have to wait for her to, if she's in the middle of a task and I don't want to interrupt her. So it should mean that the recording will be a bit easier to do in that room, since I can just close the door and it's at the end of the apartment. So more away from what she will be doing. Because also with this home studio that she's doing, we're having more customers come into the space. So that is, I guess, a challenge when you're living in an apartment and having a home business and whatnot. But the goal is that this won't, hopefully eventually will not be so much an issue, because next year we're looking to buy a place here somewhere within the area. But that won't be till at least by summertime is when we're hoping to purchase a property that's our own home, but also plenty of space on the property for the streaming studio as well. So we will just have to see how that goes. And so speaking of Mrs. Flimsy, as a reminder, or for those of you who are new to the channel, Mrs. Flimsy's face has never been revealed. As far as you all know, she doesn't. You could say that I've just made her up. She doesn't exist, but that's not the case. So there's going to be. We're planning a face reveal. She has high standards, 5,000 subscribers. So I don't know how long it will be till we get there. I once tried to talk her down to 2,500, but she stood her ground on 5,000, and I was like, that's fine. That's just what we originally had agreed upon. So we'll have a face reveal with her at 5,000 subscribers. And then that will be her first time ever playing World of Warships. So we'll have a Twitch live stream, Mrs. Flimsy and myself, Flimsy, doing a Twitch live stream of her playing World of Warships for the first time. So we'll see how that one goes. But maybe at 2,500 subscribers, we can do a Q&A with Mrs. Flimsy, as I'm looking over my shoulder to her right now. Maybe, but you wouldn't see her. It'd just be an audio clip with some game footage playing in the background, like now, which I don't even know what clip I'm going to be using in the background here yet. So she's very supportive of this hobby and what I do, so I'm quite thankful for her in that. And then maybe that actually leads us into, I'll skip 5, my 5th point, and then I'll come back to it. It skips into number 6. So you may have noticed on probably, I guess it's the last several weeks, you haven't had any ads on any of the videos, and I try not to monetize. I don't monetize I don't think I do, at least monetize the Lunch with Flimsy episodes here. But you may have noticed that there's been no ads at the beginning or the end of the video. And that is because I had to turn monetization off for current videos, and I actually had to go back through all of my upgrade, commit, or build videos and some other videos to turn off monetization individually off of them, because I don't want to turn monetization off for the channel in general, just for the specific videos and the content right now. And this leads into the Norway frustrations. So if you've been enjoying the content with no ads, you can thank the government of Norway for that. So for those, if you're new, Mrs. Flimsy and I have lived here in Norway for over the last 3 years. And so that for myself has been on a skilled workers visa, and Mrs. Flimsy on a family visa. And we could have already applied for permanent residency, but we didn't have several things in place. Namely, there's this social studies course. In Norwegian, it's samfunnskunnskap course, Norwegian social studies course. We had to take, which we have taken now, and so that was a month ago. I think we finished that, or in October, beginning of October. I think we both finished that up. And then Mrs. Flimsy has enough hours with her language school learning, because we both have taken Norwegian language classes, A1, A2, B1. I stopped after B1 because it was during COVID and it was all online, and I learned much better in person. Mrs. Flimsy continued on to B2, but with the modules and her physically writing out all the vocab, she got the minimum requirement of 250 hours. And be exempted for not having to take an A2 Norwegian language level test. I have to take this test because I don't have enough hours, the 250 hours needed. So in 2 weeks I have a norskproven, I have a Norwegian test at A2. So and that will be writing, reading, and listening. And then on that Thursday, then I have the oral test. Is speaking Norwegian and talking with another person. But how does that relate to me not having ads turned on and monetization turned on, and having the super thanks also turned off as well, because some of you have used that previously. And that is because of my skilled workers visa, is that I can earn up to a max, what is 1,000 Norwegian kroner. So roughly right now that'd be like, let's just say over $90 US. With the current exchange rate between US dollars and Norwegian kroner, it's much more favorable for US dollar to Norwegian kroner right now. So not a lot of kroner value for the kroner right now. I am capped on my skilled workers visa that I can only earn a max of 1,000 kroner from another company, another source, besides my employment. Now, I can also, you can have a little hobby. I think you can earn up to like 5,000 kroner, so roughly $500. If you're just doing stuff on the side, you don't have to report it. And this is information that came from my Norwegian Social Studies course that I just took recently. And also something that was in the back of my mind, but I didn't know the actual physical amount, because the YouTube monetization, things were really taking off quite well. Not that I was making crazy amounts of money, like let's say I was starting to hit $15 to $20 a month. Okay, roughly something like that. I don't mind sharing it with you all, because you all are the source of generating profit between viewing ads, or those of you who have YouTube premium. So get a very smaller portion off of the premium, since you don't see ads. Excuse me. So I hit like 700 kroner. Got paid out, and then actually there's already over, I don't know, like 500 kroner or 600 kroner more waiting to be, well, it's not 600 kroner yet, because they do a payout every like roughly $60 they pay out, and that would put me over the 1,000 kroner for the 2023 calendar year. So I had to turn off ads for the time being until we get permanent residency. So the goal is that by mid-January, we'll have applied for a permanent residency. And then I don't have limitations on the income sources I can earn. So it turns out that I'm not alone with this. There's a lot of other international men who work in Norway that are on skilled workers visa, or not just men, but also women, who get frustrated by that visa limitation, because Norway is among the most expensive countries to live in the world. Not number one, but it's in the top. And when you're trying to save for a home in Norway, particularly in the larger city areas of, like, I mean, I can say for reference Oslo, Bergen, Stavanger, and so we live in the Stavanger area. And houses are just so expensive here, so much more expensive than what I was used to from my home state in Indiana. Although, of course, it's gone up since we've moved here. But the housing market is even much more higher in Oslo than compared to here in Stavanger. So basically, I've been trying to work on, like, okay, how can I earn other lines of income to help Mrs. Flimsy and I purchase a home? And that's mostly just been trying to help her with her business. So working vicariously through her to help with that. So that's how we worked that off. But it's really frustrating for myself and other internationals on this good workers visa, because you kind of feel a bit punished, slapped on the hand, I guess is what I would say, with how it's set up with the Norwegian immigration authorities, or what here it's known as UDI. So yeah, so that's a bit annoying, but at the same time, things should work out rather well. I think the Norwegian language test will go well in 2 weeks from now. I think there shouldn't be any issues with us applying for permanent residency, and that we should get approved on that. So then that will be actually rather nice to have and experience more, I guess, security in living here, but then also that I'm no longer restricted on what income I'm earning and so forth. And that was something I didn't think of per se in advance. Usually they say if you monetize YouTube, you want to be doing it from the country that you're in, but not all countries can you monetize from, but Norway is one of those countries you can monetize from. So I was like, oh, okay, then that just makes sense. I'll just do it from the country that I reside in and so forth. And I didn't think about, oh, well, maybe because of these visa issues, if I'd been thinking ahead, I would have just linked everything through my US address and US bank. And then this wouldn't have been an issue if I didn't report that little income I was getting from YouTube to the Norwegian tax authorities, as an example. So that's not something I was too interested in doing, because I really like trying to make sure I'm doing everything legally, but it's still rather frustrating, of course. So yeah, so there's the Norway frustrations. And so the other thing, I don't know, there's a lot of exciting things happening. But the next thing is I've started working on building my next PC. So with Ben was waiting, I've had this in mind for several months now. So my current PC is from Apex Gaming PCs. And the PC that I have purchased from them, I won't per se say I'm promoting or I'm sponsoring them, or they've sponsored me, of course not. Or if I'm necessarily going to put my stamp of approval on them. But the PC I bought from them back in 2019 has done really well, like really, really well. But now that I understand PCs more, and I've been learning how to build and understand the components, and I've had several of you maybe even listening that I've talked to that have helped me in preparing for my next build, particularly from the Gnome clan. Now I'm in on World of Warships. So I'm really excited. So I began purchasing a couple of components because I was waiting for Black Friday. So I purchased the CPU and a motherboard as of yesterday. And because they were on sale, one was 25% off, the other was 15% off, 15 or 12% off, 15% off, I think. So I think my CPU, it's like, because you're probably going to ask, it's an Intel Core at 12,900K. And then the motherboard, let's see. I was just looking at this last night. The motherboard is an Asus ROG Strix Z690E gaming motherboard. So those were both on sale, and I was waiting around for Black Friday for some sales before I started assembling components. So this next PC build, I'm basically stretching out from November through all the way through February. So for 4 months to kind of help spread out the cost. But I did want to take advantage of some things that are on sale. So I'm really excited for it. I love the Lee cases, PC cases. So they have the dynamic, dynamic 011? Really fantastic cases. And then they came out with the dynamic 011, the Evolution. And then they just came out with a new PC case, the Lanely, I think it's just called the Vision, and it's a lot of glass, and it has a lot of people have been questioning about the ventilation, but the ventilation seems to be quite good on it, as they have, I think it's raised from the bottom, and then they pull a lot of air from underneath, and some other aspects of the PC case, because I think they built that case in partnership with, was it PC Master, I think? But then they have another PC case coming out that they've teased a while back, being an, I think it's an RGB case, so that's like RGB lighting, or like lighting control, all that. And I think from what they've said is that they intend that one will probably come out around mid-December. So I'm waiting on that case. I want to see what that one looks like, as the current case I have is a Corsair ATX. It's a mid-tower, but I don't remember the specific number. But it's good, but I'm going to keep this PC, and I'm not entirely sure. I have some thoughts and ideas what I'm going to use it for, but not 100%, because it's still operating just fine. But I like in this one, I have I think it's a GTX NVIDIA 1660 Ti. And the new GPU I'm going for is a RTX, I think it's a 4060 Ti. Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. So that's everything that fits within my comfort zone in terms of price and what I'm going for. I don't need something that's incredibly powerful, because I'm not playing these games that are really demanding on the GPU, CPU. But I wanted to get something a bit better for streaming, because I do have a Twitch channel, but I haven't streamed for a while. And that is because it does put a rather full load on my PC right now. And I won't have my next PC fully built until, February, probably end of February, beginning of March. So I'm wanting to be a little bit mindful of it, things of that nature. So, but I'm really looking forward to this next PC build, because I've been thinking about it for some time, and then I'm going to do it myself. So I'll probably have one of my Norwegian friends who's really good at it come over and help. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Wrapping up, see, roughly about 22 minutes in for this video. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I just say I'm just thankful. There's a lot of good things happening in life right now, and thankful with the YouTube channel and stuff. And I guess even with the monetization stuff, I never went in with this YouTube channel that I was like, oh, I want to see how much money I can make from this, and that's my driving factor and purpose. Is like, no. So because I started this during COVID time, and just wanted to share a hobby and didn't have a lot to do, so to speak, at that time. But I've just enjoyed the community that's come out of it. So it doesn't bother me at all to turn the monetization. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it doesn't bother me at all to turn monetization off. It's nice to be compensated for the time investment that I make. That I only want to have ads on the beginning and the end. I hate when there's ads in the middle of a video. So I never want to do that to you. So if that happens, it's YouTube has taken control and prevented me from not having an ad in the middle of a video. And I like them. For the most videos, there are always skippable ads at the beginning. But I think on the upgrade commander build videos, I don't make those skippable at the front, just because those are a little bit more time intensive and stuff like that. But it's nice to be compensated, right? As a man, you're putting time and labor into something that you enjoy and love doing, like a hobby. You know, you're sharing it with others. It's nice to be compensated back in that way, even if it's just less than $1 a day, essentially, like was what I was getting when you span it out over the month. Like 50-75 cents a day. So I don't think that's too much to ask for. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah. So anyhow, it's enough yammering from me. So bless you, Mrs. Flimsy. So if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you subscribe again, thanks so much. I really appreciate the community here. And yeah, feel free. Don't forget to Q&A next Monday. So ask your questions below in the video, and I will answer them Monday of next week. And also make sure to check out the FLT Discord, and I'll put a channel on there for this Q&A next Monday. So until next time, take care.